We're going to hit record. We're going to get this thing going. We're going to get this thing going. And we're listening to some good music. Y'all hear those tunes? Oh, I think it's going to come up. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, here comes Biggie Smalls. The Notorious B.I.G. Those of you hip hop fans, what a legend. We lost him in 1996. Yeah, you're like, I don't care. Such good music. This song, ladies and gentlemen, anyone? Anyone? I'm going to jump on my Facebook Live so I can see over here on the phone, getting this done. Anyone? Name of the song? I told you that the artist, the Notorious B.I.G., featuring Maze. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is Biggie Smalls. The name of the song? Anyone? Here we go. And we're live. That's right. I just realized that nobody is seeing this. All right. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where is my mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where is my Facebook Live? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Hold on. Nobody can see. Where is it? 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 Hold on. Here we go. Edit privacy. Let's get everybody on here. Dang it. Let's hope everybody can jump on here now. Okay. We did it again. Keep forgetting to go back to that. All right, friends. We're here. We're here. We're here. We're here. We are here. We are here. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's hope folks are jumping on. Let's hope folks are jumping on here. All right. Keep forgetting to go back. Mm-hmm. All right. Hope the folks are jumping on. Here we go. We are live. We are live. We are live. Okay. And I think our music is gone. Let's one more, a little bit more, little bit more, a little bit more. Okay. All right. We're all over the place today, friends. We really are. All right. So here we go. I have some things to share. So the name of this song is called Mo Money, Mo Problems, right? Mo Money, Mo Problems. We are going to talk about relationships and money today, friends. Mo Money, Mo Problems. We're going to shut him down. We're going to shut you down, Notorious B.I.G. All right, here we go. Now we've got some friends on here. Okay, thank you for your patience. Here we go. All right, all right. It is noon central here in the Midwest. And my lighting, I look like I'm a ghost. What is going on? That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Goodness gracious. We're going to talk about relationships, money, and relationships. I've had several folks who have reached out to me to say, David, would you talk about money and relationships? And specifically at the time, it was money and dating. Like, when do you introduce money and dating? Ooh, who pays for what? And what I'd like to do is expand that conversation into money and relationships, all relationships. Because oftentimes we do talk about on DLea DLayered, by the way, David Lee, with Daring Deeply, Life Leadership and Relationship Coaching. We call these segments on Tuesday and Thursday at noon central, DLea, David Lee, DLea DLayered. We delayer the complexities of life, leadership, relationships. And we're going to talk about relationships and money today and how it can be complex. And we talk a lot about things that people don't want to talk about. And we're going to talk about money, which can have a lot of charged conversations attached to it, right? So I am watching the comments. I hope folks jump on here. If you have questions, specific questions, interactions, comments, whatever you'd like to share today. We're going to talk about money and relationships. We just were listening to a song, because I love the music, by the Notorious B.I.G. His song way back in the day, Mo Money, Mo Problems. More money, more problems. All right? Money can be an issue between individuals. Can it not? Anyone? Anyone have any issues with money and others? Family, friends, negotiating money and how money is spent, saved, and given away with a spouse, with a partner, friends, family, neighbors. Ooh, yeah, these are all potentially some really complex conversations to have. So we're going to dive into it. as I always say, with Daring Deeply, what we teach and coach here is always asking the question, why? So why are we having this conversation about money and relationships? Because it's important, because often, and I hear this often, marriage complexities, fights, disagreements, partnerships, we fought about money, how we spend, save, and give our money away, how we invest our money is often a challenging conversation to have, isn't it? Anyone have a story about that? I'd love for you to share. By the way, if you're jumping on here, I would love to know that you're here and where you're from. So please do that. And we'll move through this. So what's important to understand is why we're having this conversation and where do we begin? When we talk about money and our relationships, okay? The first thing we need to talk about is your relationship, my relationship with money, my individual relationship with money. Where does that come from? How does that happen? Were we taught about money management? Were we taught about spending, saving, investing, giving, tithing, if that's your deal? All right. How do we have a relationship as individuals with money? Super important place to start. We're going to jump into that in just a little bit. So I would invite you to ask the question as you're watching this live today, or you're watching this later, recorded, is what do you consider your relationship with money? Is it a good relationship? All right. Is there shame attached to the idea of money? Because once upon a time, someone shamed you, right? Are there consistent money issues? Never enough money at the end of the month? Never enough, too much month at the end of the money? A friend of mine said that one time. I'll say it again. Too much month at the end of the money? You get me? Okay, right? We're always scraping by, money problems. Maybe it's fluctuations in our money management. We have money and then we don't have money. And then we have money and we don't have money. Ultimately, what we coach and teach here at Daring Deeply is that we have a consistent through thread about how we manage our lives, and money is an important part of that. Just like we talk about sex is an important part, right? Communication is an important part of all of our relationships. So we are going to talk about these types of things. So there's a question for you. What is your relationship with money? Do you manage it well? And what is well considered, right? Do you use a money management system, right? Is there someone out there with whom you follow to help? A lot of folks follow Dave Ramsey for his wisdom as far as money is concerned. All right. How do you manage your money? How do you think about your money? How do you spend your money? How do you save your money? How do you decide how to spend your money? Because it's going to directly affect those closest to you and how you deal with your money. So I have a story. I grew up in a world where money was not talked about. We didn't talk about money in my house. In fact, it was in some ways shamed. Has anyone ever heard the phrase? Money is the root of all evil? Anyone ever heard that? Money is the root of all evil? Yeah, I've heard that. It's actually a misquote from some ancient scripture, right? Ancient writings from the Christian Bible. The actual quote is the root. Money is the root. I'm just forgetting the quote. The root of all evil. The misquote, let me get this straight. The misquote is money is the root of all evil. No. The love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money. And what that means is when we put money first and ahead of everything else, right? That's really what the quote is, which I would agree with. But what I heard growing up was money is the root of all evil, meaning, we don't talk about it. It's evil. All it does is bring us down. We don't want to talk about it. We want it, but we don't want to talk about it. We don't have enough of it, right? I grew up in this scarcity mentality. Anyone else grow up in this scarcity mentality? Yeah, me too. So it's an important thing to discuss. And we can take multiple angles at looking at money in all relationships. We can take a look at the dating world. We can talk about marriage, money and friendship, money and friends and family. Ooh, that's a big one. In fact, I saw someone post on a group in which I'm a part of earlier this morning, where he was having all kinds of money issues with family who were demanding money for things that he needed, and he didn't know how to say yes or no, which ultimately brings me to this point, friends. And that is this. This conversation, money and relationships is really about boundaries. Boundaries. That's right. It is about boundaries. Those of you that are watching live or later, right, consider the idea of what a boundary is. And I'm going to provide my definition, right? I teach a lot about boundaries, as some of you know. My definition of boundaries, and I'm going to see if I can share my screen real quick with all of you. And let's see if it's here. It is not right now. Let me see this. Hold on one second, friends. All right, let's do this. Let's see if we can share this. All right, I am going to share my screen. First time we have done this. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you for your patience. Boundaries is simply this. Let's see if we can see this screen. I'm going to wait for just a moment. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. All right. So boundaries, we're going to bring this up here. Okay. So boundaries is this. Boundaries are the external expression, or my external expressions of my internal self-affirmation indicating what's truly valuable to me. I'm reading from the screen here. Okay. Boundaries are my external expressions of my internal self-affirmations indicating what's truly valuable to me. Now, what in the world does that mean? What I will share with you is this. A boundary, a relational boundary is not a boundary until and unless it is externally expressed. What does that mean? It is spoken either verbally, right, or with body language. A boundary is not a boundary until it is externally expressed, friends. I believe that we all have issues and boundaries that roam inside of us internally and naturally, but it's not until we speak them, right? We make our voice heard. And when dealing with money, this is super, 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 super important. Okay. We can't assume that people have the same money management skills and expectations as we do if we do not express it, if we do not share it, if we do not have the hard conversations. Oh, this is so hard. It's so hard to have difficult conversations, isn't it? Yes, agreed. All right. Boundaries are an external expression of my self-affirmations. Okay, so it's an external expression of what? My internal self-affirmation, which means, in essence, what's truly valuable to me. What I find truly valuable to me, what I find of value, what I feel deep inside of me of what is right and what is wrong. And I must express it externally. That is a boundary. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing here and come back to us. All right, so that is a boundary. So if we use that as a foundation for which to have these conversations about money, right, we must be very open and candid and curious and expressive about what we think about money. This is super, super, super important. Okay. So if this is really about boundaries, right, is that we are expressing what we believe or don't believe about money. We've got to have the hard conversations, friends. We got to have them. We got to have the hard conversations. If not, then there are too many assumptions, and we know what assumptions mean. Right? Assume, I'm going to say it again, makes an ass out of you and me. ASSUME, ass. Right. All right. So some questions that you may be considering. I'm going to read them from my notes. When is it, David? You may be asking me, right? Ask yourself this. When is a good time, a right time to begin conversations about money and new relationships? Ooh, those of you in the dating world, right? Sometimes this can be a sticky situation when you go on a first date, whether you're 25 or 55, right? I would invite you to consider, have a conversation about it. Ooh, I know that's not easy. Here's another question to consider. What needs to be said about money regarding friends and family? Now we're back to those boundaries, right? Just because they're close friends or family doesn't mean that they get special privileges and get to say what you do and how you do with your money. Ooh, this is boundaries. This is boundaries. Remember, you've got to externally express your internal self-affirmation, what you believe to be valuable. Super important, okay? And yet sometimes when it comes to family and friends, we just kind of let it go. Well, they're my best friends, so I've got to help them out. Do you? Is this the third time that they've asked for help? And have you received that money back that you lent them? Oh, this can be some convicting conversation. Well, they're my family, right? I need to help them out financially. Or perhaps you're the one who's asking for some financial help. These are challenging conversations, right? Can be really, really tricky. Money can, quote, get in the way, and it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Here's some other questions. Should I lend money to my friends and family? Have you done this? Have you had experiences with lending money with family and friends, and what has happened? I've often said this. If you choose to enter into that type of financial agreement, perhaps the understanding is this is a gift, right? Even if you say, you know what, I'm going to pay you back, or they're going to pay you back, is I would invite you to consider, you know what, this just may be a gift, and that's okay. Okay. Kind of takes things off the table, the uncomfortableness, maybe going into a formal contract, writing something out, right? Kind of takes that away. Hey, how about this? When you begin to talk, those of you that are parents, when do you begin to talk about money with your children? We talked about talking to kids about sex on Tuesday of this week. I would invite you to find that. We have our YouTube channel, Daring Deeply. You can find it, search for it on YouTube. And that particular podcast is up and ready to go. We talked about the idea that it's never too young for a parent to talk about sex with their children, mature appropriately. The same is true here with money, something that could be sticky and difficult, right? The sooner we introduce money management concepts and understanding that money, this is for free. Okay, money is simply this, friends. Okay, if you want to look for a definition, if you're taking notes, I would invite you to do so. Money is simply this. It's a tool. That's it. Okay, because if we chase money as a thing, right, and if we have more of it, we're going to be more happy. Right, we fight this all the time. My guess is I certainly have. Holy cow, right? If I have more of it, I'm going to be happier. Not necessarily. Some of the happiest times I have been, I had nothing. I had nothing. Okay. Money is simply a tool to help make life more navigable, right? It gives us freedom, right? So if we think in terms of that, what an incredible foundation and concept in which to teach our children at a very young age, right? So when do we begin to talk about money with children? When they begin to understand anything about purchasing, getting things, going to the store, we can teach them about what it takes to purchase something at the store with a toy, right? With something that they want. It will begin to lay a foundation for how they view money management in their adult lives. It's never too early. Here's another question. How do I not allow money to hurt my closest relationships? Back to boundaries. My global blanketed thought on this, friends, is the more you talk, the better things will be, right? The more information that you share, the more that you allow folks to know, those closest to you. If you're dating and you're getting ready to enter into a long-term relationship, perhaps you're at the age where you're getting married, is the quicker and sooner you have these conversations and that you really lean in and share with them the honest, vulnerable aspects of what you believe about money. And nothing is wrong. I often say this to our clients, right, here at Daring Deeply. Your feelings are never wrong, ever. Your feelings are never wrong. Whatever you're feeling is absolutely, positively okay. Now, it's how those expressions, how those emotions are expressed, right, that really matters. So I would invite you to consider money as anything else. Let's normalize money. Let's jump into that right now. Let's begin to normalize our conversations about money, like we teach and coach about normalizing our conversations about sex, about conflict, right? Some of the more challenging ideas of life. I would invite us to make it more normal. That's what we want to do here with Daring Deeply on these DLea DLayered concepts, podcasts, is to make the difficult conversations simpler, more normal. I would invite us to consider that. It's never, ever, ever too early in any relationship to have a conversation about money, ever, right? I would offer, hey, if you are in the dating world, it's a first date, of course you're going to have a financial conversation because you're probably somewhere spending money. Who is going to pay? There's a financial conversation right at the beginning of a relationship, right? When you meet a friend for the first time and you're building a new friendship, maybe it's a work relationship, right? And money is involved. Right? Is how does your particular company spend money? It's important to know that. Have open conversation, open dialogue. The more that we communicate, the better. Okay. Have boundaries with your money. Just like anything else, friends, no one, and I mean no one, is allowed to tell you how to do your money, how to spend your money, how to save your money. Now, can those with whom you call close and trusted individuals, trusted, right? They love you right where you are, and they love you enough not to leave you there. That's who we're talking about. How close, how small is that circle, friends? That's another conversation, right? But I would invite you to identify who those people are with whom you trust to have hard, honest, open, curious, and vulnerable conversations about money. Those perhaps are only the people in which you invite into those tough conversations. They can provide some feedback, right? Not tell you what you should do, but say, hey, would you be open to some feedback about some money management? I have noticed some things. Would you be open to hear some of my perspective? Imagine having conversations like that. Not easy. It's so hard. I know for me, it took me years, decades to become comfortable with conversations about money. I get it. I completely and totally get it. Friends, here is where we are. This is hard. This is challenging. And as we teach here at Daring Deeply, we can do hard things. So I leave you today with this overarching idea of establishing boundaries when it comes to your money and your relationships, is understand what you know to be true, what you are still learning, your narrative about finances, what you learned as a child and how you take that into adulthood. And that is how you're going to shape your relationships with money with others. It's important to know that and to understand your boundaries, right? To share with people, to externally express, which means verbalize what you believe to be true about money management, right? This is not about how to spend your money, how to save your money, how to give your money, how to invest your money. This is about open, honest conversations and allowing those conversations to shape how you manage your money with a loved one. This is going to help alleviate and maybe completely eliminate complexities, conflict around money in your relationships. I hope this has been super helpful for you, my friends. Thank you so much for jumping on here. If you'd like to know more about what we do here at Daring Deeply and sharing really positive, amazing, transforming, I'm stumbling over my words, and that's okay. It's okay. Coaching here at Daring Deeply, I would invite you to check out our website, daring-deeply.com. We're all over the socials. You can send me a message, leave a comment about what you think about money and relationships. I'm always open to feedback. If you're interested in knowing what we do on an ongoing basis with clients through group coaching, individual coaching, and most what folks love to know is about our special 3-day retreat events in which we bring all these types of concepts live and in person at our Daring Deeply retreats that we hold throughout the year. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, please send me a message. Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, friends. We'll be back here next Tuesday for another episode of DLea DLayered. Have a fantastic rest of your Thursday and weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.